Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in the duel in the Formula 1 crown, ready for the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, and just like pretty much every other Monaco Grand Prix, this one has its fair share of controversy. Get yourself subscribed if you're new, and let's do this thing. Hello everyone, and welcome back to round 7 of Season 4 of the F124 Driver Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the duel in the Formula 1 crown. It's time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live a couple of days ago from Imola, I would highly recommend going back and checking out. We've had 5 different winners from the opening 6 Grand Prix. It's been absolutely mental to kickstart this new season, but luckily, we are still right towards the front of the field there. Looks like it could still be myself versus Charles Leclerc once again in the championship fight. Unfortunately, we did get slightly screwed over at Imola. Ferrari did Ferrari things and completely botched my strategy. So we ended up losing a few points to our teammate there with a P8 finish when all is said and done. But you can see Charles didn't exactly have it all his own way either. P5 for him at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix as well. So Ferrari once again unable to win around this circuit. Of course, obviously, if you guys have been around in this series for quite a while, you'll know Monaco has not gone well for me so far in F124. We've failed to finish any of the Grand Prix we've done around this circuit inside this series, so yeah, that doesn't bode well as we head into the weekend. Of course, if you're new around here as well, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs. But yeah, let's head out then here to the Monaco Grand Prix.
Not all qualifying sessions are created equal. From the moment that a driver sits in a go-kart, they want to end up here, in the pit lane, ready and raring for qualifying at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Well, 5 pole positions in a row so far this campaign. And this, I tell you what, this would be one I'd love to try and make it 6 at Monaco. We hyped up this race last year as kind of the ultimate battle between myself and Charles Leclerc. We did get the better of our teammate over the course of the weekend, but it was actually Verstappen that took the win come the checkered flag. And of course, yeah, we famously binned it in the very last corner of the GP as well. So not really one to write home about for us, unfortunately, when all was said and done. Like I said, first and foremost, I just want to see the checkered flag around the Monaco Grand Prix at some point there as Verstappen once again, just like we saw last season here, looks to be very, very fast. Alpine though, Mercedes, Haas, Aston Martin, there's so many teams in the fight this weekend. So of course, yeah, there's no guarantee that we even make our way out of Q2. We've got to try and get the lap nailed. But once again, we saw Leclerc really struggle last weekend. He's only down in P11 right now, as we make a little bit of a hash of to back. I tell you what, so far this lap hasn't been one to write home about. Almost hit the inside wall down through the exit of the swimming pool chicane there, and as we round our way through the fun a couple of corners, what is this lap time going to be? We might have to go for a double run here. We're going to do an 8-9. We go P7. We'll try and do another one. And as we make our way then back out of the tunnel once again, we are marginally up there again. A little bit of a lock-up though into the chicane. Come on. Oh, Mark needs to stop talking to me through to back, man. I'd swear down. That is ruining my momentum so badly. As we make our way through the final couple of corners there. This lap getting a little bit more ragged as we try to hang on to the tyres here. They're just starting to overheat a little bit as well. At the final corner, though, we are going to find another couple of tenths there, so I guess that's good. We go P4. That should see us safely through. Well, I never thought I'd say that. Lance Stroll, fastest in Monaco qualifying, at least in Q2. But the big shocker, though, Charles Leclerc out. P15. Could not get the lap hooked up, so this car is certainly not working as well as it was last year. Again, it kind of feels like we're like the new Red Bull. We had a dominant car last year, and now everybody's caught back up, and we are really, really starting to struggle. Quite a few surprises there, as both McLarens failed to see Q3, as well as Fernando Alonso. Meanwhile, Ricciardo, Hulkenberg, both Alpines will make it through there, and even the V-Carb of Carlos Sainz running up in P3. It is anybody's guess who's going to get on pole. I might genuinely never live it down if Lance Stroll out-qualifies me here at Monaco. We cannot allow the Canadian surely to ruin our pole streak. He can't be the first non-Ferrari pole position of the year. Only time will tell, though, as that was a nice line through turn 1. I'm going to try to avoid doing double runs again here in Q3. But if we rub up against the wall on the entry to Casino Square, that's not going to do us any favours. You can see how much we're trying to throw the car around. And we do somehow go purple in that first sector. Suck it down into the hairpin. Have to take one hand off the steering wheel to try and get the crank block through. And just again, yeah, this car does not sit on those curbs as well as we've seen it do in previous years as well there. You can see such a mixed up grid so far that really is going to leave a lot of intrigue as we head to Grand Prix Sunday. Just breaking a little bit earlier down into the chicane that time around, but still hanging it right up against the wall on the exit. Oh, I cannot get the line through to back right. I'm just always chucking it in a bit too aggressively through the first part there, but nice and tidy through the swimming pool. This has got to be a banker, just so we can chase it on our final run there, as out of Anthony Nose will go. Get on that DRS, roll on the throttle nice and tidy. It's going to be a 1084. We only go P4 though with that. And as everybody else heads out then for our final runs here of qualifying. I was not expecting that to be our top 3. We need about quarter of a second though, if we want to try and keep our pole streak alive. Max Verstappen and Ayrton Senna, 8 poles in a row each is the current record. But you can see again how committed we are on the entry in towards turn 1. Are we going to see the Dutchman improve there? Track is at the fastest it's going to be all weekend. We know we nailed that first sector, so as long as we can hang close to it, that'll be good. But somehow, we just find a little bit more there, a little bit slow to try and get the car rotated through upper Mirabeau, but we find the apex through the hairpin. Avoid taking too much curb through there. The car sat a whole lot nicer that time round. As we try and ride the curb out of Portier, they're so difficult to get that power down. But look at the time! We are 3/10 up at the moment then, as we make our way down in towards the chicane there. Oh, a little bit of rear locking. Luckily, we snap that out there and don't hit the inside wall. And we finally nailed to back this weekend. That's, I think, the best one we've done through there. And we are still just trying to explore the limits of grip there. A little bit ragged through the final couple of corners there, nudging the wall, somehow getting away with it. Half a second up, though. One more corner to go. Are we going to continue our pole streak here? We are 4/10 up towards the line, into the 7s. That surely is P1. I mean, look at that. 6 cars from 6 different teams making up your top 6 here. And after Red Bull seemingly struggled at Imola last weekend, they are back in fighting form here. Max Verstappen will join me on the front row of the grid, but the only car to get into the 107s there, Hulkenberg, has a huge opportunity, his first ever Formula 1 podium. Let's see what happens, though, as we head into the Monaco Grand Prix.
Formula 1 returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863, and of course a certain road race first held in 1929. There is no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Firestarter lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hulkenberg, Stroll, Ocon, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Sainz, Behrman, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Russell, Leclerc, Joe, Gasly, Perez, Albon and Frederic Vesti. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right, this track needs a lot of downforce, so it won't have as much top speed. The good news though is that it's going to make our DRS even more effective than normal. Try to make the most of it in the race and quali if you can.
Well, I'm hoping we're not going to need to use the DRS all too much today, Mark, and I think, yeah, the team opting as well for us to start this race on the hard compounded tyre. Hopefully Verstappen's doing the same alongside me, and then we can just try and control the pace early on in the nicest way possible. I'm hoping this is the most boring race we ever do inside F1 24. 6 pole positions in a row. Verstappen has opted for mediums. We've got our work cut out. 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go there. And luckily we get pretty good hookup throughout the first gear. Verstappen, though, will try and have a look around the outside of turn 1, and we will tell him absolutely not there. That is the most difficult bit of the GP survive there. The AI are often so good at getting the car hooked up off the launch there, and you can still see Verstappen, though, through the opening couple of corners, trying to look for an avenue to potentially make the move happen there. But he knows, of course, he needs to try and get through, get the jump, and then try to run away as early as possible here. But as we just try to bring the car up to rhythm early on, of course, in previous years here, we've often had to go for an alternate strategy to try and just carve our way back through the order there, as we've often, I think that's the first ever Monaco pole for us inside F1 24. This time around, though, we get to dictate the pace. We get to control things from the front of the field right from the get-go, and hopefully that means that a standard one-stop is going to be the way forward here this afternoon. Of course, we've seen some crazy Monaco Grand Prix in the past. Like I said, I want this one to be fairly calm, fairly undramatic there. It was just getting right up towards the wall through the exit of Las Casas. Lap 1 has been navigated. We can see everybody behind us trying to set new fastest laps of the day. And Verstappen, I think we should luckily have enough straight line speed down in towards turn 1 there to hold off from the Dutchman behind. Of course, as the tyres start to wear or things like that. The one other thing I'm nervous about is the undercut. Obviously, Verstappen on those mediums, he will box before I do. It kind of then depends how many other runners further down the order are also on the hards, because he might get stuck behind another car, he might not, and he might just rock up to the back of me again, which would be quite an issue. I'm hoping we can get Hulkenberg out of the DRS range, and then maybe he could just really form a train behind. I mean, it's so difficult just to keep the car stable and planted around here. This Ferrari, it still hasn't got tremendous feel to it. I know I've moaned about it a few times so far this campaign, as we might now just have Hulkenberg out of the range there. You see Verstappen as well. That Red Bull has definitely got some poke off the corners, so yeah, don't feel like we've optimised the setup too perfectly around here, although often the AI can be very good, but it is just all about getting into a rhythm. I say it every time we come to this circuit. The quicker you can kind of lock in and just kind of become one with the car, the better it'll be there. And of course, if you end up with any slip-ups or anything like that, immediately your entire momentum, your entire rhythm can be absolutely shredded. It's often been the problem for us, is exactly little mistakes like that can do. Hence why, yeah, we've struggled to finish this race. I've never had a bad track record at Monaco prior to F1 24. But yeah, we've just had no luck inside this game. New fastest lap of the day, just now starting to inch away from Verstappen slightly. One of the other things we don't have to deal with this year, the dirty air around Monaco. It makes such a difference in terms of tyre temperature as well. It's really nice not having to worry about that. I love the way, even at Monaco, when you're just trying to control the pace at the front of the field, Mark's there egging you on to try and drive faster. He's going, go on, use some battery. What happens if you use some battery where you wouldn't normally use it? I'm pretty much just using it every time through the tunnel and then out of the final corner and at turn 1. But Mark apparently demands more. It's quite funny the way you kind of get a couple of laps that the pace settles in, and then just suddenly one where the car feels absolutely hooked up again. We've made it to 1/4 distance. Normally, you're not really counting the laps down from this stage of a race, but at Monaco, you just will on every single lap. Oh, we are getting so close to being able to shake Verstappen out of the DRS range. That middle sector, we are absolutely flying along every single time there. So one more lap. As we've almost set a new fastest lap of the day. I mean, the AI is surely going to be considering pitting soon. And there we go, Verstappen 1 second back. Hopefully we can start opening up this lead. Oh, no. No. I've nicked the tyre wall again. I forgot about the wear. How bad is the wear at the moment? 61% on that front right there. So we'll do the same with the rear right as well. That's not ideal. We might be in more trouble than I realised here. Luckily, there's still a bit of weird trickery with the tyres.
Nice work. That's why I love working with you. Smashed it.
Where now, as long as I don't hit the wall again, that tyre won't really wear until it kind of catches up with where it would have been. It's very peculiar and rather odd to explain as well. But yeah, now we've got to really be gentle with the car. just one nudge makes all the difference. As you can see then, as we get closer and closer to half distance, Max Verstappen now is definitely starting to drop away. Won't be too long before the Dutchman's into the pit lane there, as yeah, even with the tyre wear. Warning light on! No!
Safety car deployed. Stay positive.
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Just as I was starting to talk about it, so everybody's going to be into the pit lane.
It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track. Be careful.
From the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix, we have absolutely bottled it here. Verstappen will probably get the jump on me, because of course we got to get a new front wing on the car. And there goes the Dutchman. Oh, I only just got out ahead as well there, because of course everybody else slowed each other up. But every single car then into the pit lane here, if I'm not mistaken. But there has been a switch at the front.
That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
What on earth is Verstappen doing? Verstappen's slow. Has he got mechanical issues? We're back into the lead of the Grand Prix. I've got no idea what that was about.
Approaching the safety car, you're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
I have never seen that in F1 24, but have we just effectively cheated our way back to the front of the field here? Verstappen slow on pit lane exit. Like I said, I don't know if he's breaking down or what's going on, but we hang on at the front of the field. Well, safety car in then at the end of lap 17, so it really hasn't been a long spell there. But yeah, like I said, let me know down in the comments below. Should we have taken the lead off of Verstappen? Effectively, the way I see that, you are racing on pit lane entry and exit, so kind of all's fair there. Admittedly, you know, I only thought he had problems because he ghosted, but he still seems to be in this race. As we're going to go green flag racing once again then, and somehow, despite the error, still in the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. Now we've got to try and work these tyres hard over the first couple of laps there to get the gap over the Dutchman. See if we can break him out of the DRS before he even has a chance, because we know our tyres will fall off towards the end of the afternoon. We just don't want him to be nearby when that happens. Well, it's only been one lap, and I can already tell Verstappen he's going to run as hard towards the end of the afternoon. Now, there we go. The gap does open up to 1.2 as we navigate our way through the final few corners. Hopefully, we can try and claim fastest lap and just make sure, obviously, we've locked it down now for the rest of the afternoon here. Is get the power down out of that final corner. What is the lap time going to be? It's going to be a 10-1.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
I think that basically matches the IRL lap record in qualifying around this circuit, so I guess we could be quite happy with that one. But yeah, Verstappen 1.5 seconds back.
It's going to hurt us. We've really got to look after it now. Let's put everything into protecting that front wing, please.
Effectively, the entire Monaco Grand Prix is just trying to protect the front wing mark, but okay, let's try to avoid doing any damage again. As we found out last year here at Monaco, you can never say anything is guaranteed until you make your way out of that final corner and get towards the start-finish line here. Are we going to not quite set a new fastest lap of the race? But yeah, at the moment, we're just building up a little bit of a gap over Verstappen. I'm not interested in absolutely dominating this one. In fact, I don't think, apart from Season 1, anybody has won the Monaco Grand Prix by more than a couple of seconds inside this series. I just want those 26 points. And obviously with Leclerc struggling as well, that might put us straight back to the top of the table. Come on, just 1/3 distance left of the Monaco Grand Prix. We're just starting to count down the laps more and more here. But after I hyped it up last weekend and then proceeded to get the wrong Haas car, Nico Hülkenberg could be on for his very first Formula 1 podium this weekend here in Monaco. Of course, has spent so many years with that Haas team. Ultimately, up until now, we've never really felt he's warranted keeping that seat inside this series. Obviously, I absolutely thrashed him, and then Gasly smacked him as well last season as a obviously new driver for Haas Formula 1 as well. But Hülkenberg this year seems to have pulled his finger out, and I'm sure a first ever podium at the Monaco Grand Prix of all places as well. That would taste quite sweet. Well, I also don't want to tempt fate here, but with 10 laps to go, we've still not had a single mechanical failure so far this afternoon, and I just always makes me a little bit nervous as to whether we are going to be the first. So far, reliability, with the exception of that small technical one at Shanghai, it's been pretty good so far this year, but this is F1 games. Well, of course I am me. It's very likely at some point I will get screwed. Well, there we go. As soon as I mention that, we have had one mechanical failure then. Fred Vesti out of the GP. Still, yeah, yet to score a point in Formula 1. But, yeah, that calms the nerves a little bit. There is that stricken Sauber car. Disappointment once again for the Danish Formula 1 driver. Yeah, really, I mean, joining Sauber was always going to be tough. But when we've seen Ollie Behrman have a few flashes of brilliance, that's really, really pained Fred Vesti. Oh no, that's certainly not ideal either. You guys won't have heard it, but I've just had a message through my headphones. The battery on them might be about to die. This is not a common issue for Formula 1 drivers, I'm sure, but I don't fancy my chances trying to race around Monaco with no audio. Obviously, I really do like to listen to the car, you know, it's helpful to work out what the back end's doing and things like that. Verstappen's starting to close in as well a little bit towards the end, and just everything once more seems to be adding up against me. Oh my god, they've gone. They've gone. I can't hear anything anymore. I cannot hear a thing for the final 4 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix. This has got to be one of the weirdest ends to a race I've ever had inside F124, and immediately you could just hear, or see even I should say, that we're just not quite confident in what the car's doing underneath us. I mean, most of it at this point is based on muscle memory for me. Obviously, of just doing countless laps, not only in this car, but also at this track as well. So, we got 4 laps to go of the Monaco Grand Prix. 2 seconds the gap to Verstappen. Hulkenberg is still losing time to Hamilton behind him, who is practically pushing him along now. Can we hang on? Oh no, I've just nudged the wall. Tyre wear warning light has come on again, so we are going to have to try and navigate our way with some very, very worn tyres as well towards the end of this one. I feel like I've done a better job nursing those front tyres throughout the second half of this GP. But come on, 3 laps left. Well, catching is one thing here at Monaco. Passing is a completely different one. 1 lap to go of the Monaco Grand Prix. Verstappen, he's less than 2 seconds away now. But unless we do something stupid on this last lap, surely, we're going to be able to walk away with this victory. This has been a brutal track for us inside F124. We've had punctures, mechanical failures, glitches and bugs, and pretty much everything that could go wrong has gone wrong at some point or another around these historic streets in Formula 1. Verstappen has taken the win here, I believe, on 2 separate occasions already on this game. Yuki Tsunoda, of course, won the race for Ferrari as well. So still in this series, at least Charles Leclerc waiting for that first Monaco Grand Prix victory, and he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. A disastrous weekend for our teammate hopefully will mean if we can bring this home, we will retake the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. Verstappen as well now is finally springboarding himself back in towards title contention. I'm taking no risk through these final few corners. We saw what happened here last season. I do not want to have a repeat of that as we navigate our way through the final couple of corners. Verstappen is all over me now, but we have survived it. A little bit of controversy at the halfway stage, but through the final corner, finally, we are going to win the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yes, guys, yes! Come on, boys!
It's the one that everybody wants to win, and they've only gone and done it. What a fantastic result here at Monaco.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, there we go. Pole position, fastest lap, and race victory. That is how you do it here at Monaco. And finally, we can say we are a Grand Prix winner here on these historic streets inside F124. Max Verstappen, though, just 2/10 away come the checkered flag, with Hulkenberg getting his first ever Formula 1 podium as well there, withholding pressure from Lewis Hamilton right towards the end of the GP. Ricciardo beats out Stroll, Russell, Tsunoda, Piastri, and Ollie Behrman getting a point on the board for Williams as well. I'm sure he will be very happy with that one. Charles Leclerc, he made basically no progress whatsoever this afternoon. In the end, we'll end up in P14 there ahead of Perez and Lando Norris there. And you can see it was just Fred Vesti who failed to see the checkered flag. That means in terms of your Drivers' Championship, a 14-point deficit becomes a 12-point lead here as we leave the Monaco streets ahead of our teammate there. Norris still ahead of Alonso and Verstappen in 3rd, 4th and 5th there. And further down the order, some big points hauls there. Hulkenberg, yeah, huge lift up for him. And now it means not only has Fred Vesti never scored a point in Formula 1, he's also the only driver this season not to have scored a point either there, now with Ollie Behrman getting a point on the board as well. Constructors-wise, Ferrari, we've still got a dominant lead over McLaren and Aston Martin there, but Mercedes and Red Bull closing in on them. Haas once more just extending that gap over the other backmarket teams as well. Could they spring surprises and finally get some wins over the course of the season? Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for in Canada.